Hey, alright, I have more books to recommend. I did two book recommendations videos, and I know I've read more since then, so I thought I'll do a third one. I have um, I have 8 books, two of which are the same author, but I'll get to that. And I'll say, why I liked him and who the target audience could be for, who would be most likely to read them. So here we go. Okay, the first book, and this is in alphabetical order. It's not like really the order I read them in, but alphabetical. And this first one is 1004 by Ben Lerner. And there's not really much I can say about this. I kind of liked it, but it's quite a complex book. I will say that I would categorize it as fiction, not science fiction. This book, it takes place in the future, not too far, but uh, you know, quite some time. But there's nothing like non-human or super technological about it. But I'll say it's quite a complex book, and I there's not really much I can say about it because I don't want to say any possible spoilers or anything. And there's like a few plots going on revolving around one man, but I really there's so it's not just about like one specific thing, but rather about what the character does. Who's a writer, and he sort of tutors this little boy, and he does other things too. It's a very it's a book that I don't think it's something like I've ever read before. So it's kind of complex and a little bit difficult to understand at times, but I kind of liked it. And if you're up for something like that too, then great. Okay, the next book is one where I said there's the same author, and this is the first mention of him, and I'm gonna remain in alphabetical order, so I'm just gonna bring him up again, and that's Dear John by Nicholas Sparks. I just finished this a week ago. Get a box of tissues, people, when you read this. You'll end up going through a whole box. But don't worry about me. I didn't cry or anything like that, but you will. And um, it's about a guy who it's about a guy named John, and it's told in first person point of view, and I really like that it was told in his point of view, about a guy who was a rebellious teenager who enlisted in the army, and then on his first leave, he meets Savannah, who's the local girl and a college student in a North Carolina town, and they sort of fall in love and things, and then um, John, John has to go back and leave Savannah, go back to Germany, and then uh, September 11th happens, and John has to make a difficult choice of to fight for his country or fight for the woman he loves. And I'm not going to say anything more about the plot than that. But I also do want to say not to think of this as like sappy romantic book. It's not like one of those romance novels where the main purpose is for the guy and the girl to hook up. But this is much more than that. I mean, another major part of the book is John's relationship with his father, who has the possibility of autism, and it's also I did say it's told in John's point of view, and I really like that it was because you're really able to get into John's head, see how he thinks. It's really any first person character. I like when books are told in first person, and yeah, it was a review here says a heartbreaker by Life, and they're not kidding. It's so sad. It's I mean, it was also a movie, with Channing Tatum and Amanda Seyfried. The movie was good, this was good, but there are a lot of differences. Movies do that, they change a lot of stuff from the book, but despite that, both were very, very good. And you should read this, and just I would recommend this to people who want to cry, and I mean that. If you really want to cry, read this book. The next book is Guitar Notes by Mary Amato, and I featured this one before. And it's about two teenagers, both musically talented. One is more of a rebellious kid named Trip who loves he doesn't love anything except his guitar. And Lila is a cello trained uh, musician and teenager. They both meet in high school, and um, they exchange notes through a guitar and they write songs. And this book has original songs. There's a QRC scanner at the bottom of this, so you can scan your phone up to it and you can hear the songs. And in the back of the book, they actually give you the chords and the lyrics, and it's a good book. And Lila is one of my favorite female protagonists, and it's a very interesting story, and it's a really sweet story. It's sad, it's funny, it's a nice, sweet relationship that they build, and yeah, it was really good. I would recommend this for like music enthusiasts and things. And if you're a guitar player, then you would like this book, and maybe you'll like some of the songs in it too. So yeah. The next book is The Interestings by Meg Wolitzer. Um, alright, first of all, confession, I listened to the audiobook of this because it's a very thick book. It's over 500 pages, over 530 roughly, and this I actually liked that I heard the audiobook because I have a thickness factor about books. Um, but this spans like 40 years. It's about, teenagers that meet, artistically talented teenagers that meet at a camp one summer, and there's about six of them, and you get to see them grow up, and they they each deal with several events in their life, so it's like multi-story lined, and it's it has its sad moments and it has its nice moments, and I will recommend if you want to read this. That's fine. I just listened to the audiobook because this would have been really really long to get through, um, and it yeah. So it's one of those multi storyline books and things, and uh, it was all right. I don't know who I'd recommend this to unless just regular adults. I don't know if you want to if we want to read something for a while, then this would be a good one. Okay, we're back to Nicholas Sparks, and you probably know what this book is going to be. It's the last song, because I've mentioned this in tags and things. And again, you'll need more tissues. This one it's about three people. Ronnie, who's rebellious. Because Ronnie, I can go on and on about her. She's a rebellious teenager coming to spend the summer with her dad Steve, who I was just going to mention as another character, at Wrightsville Beach in North Carolina. And I honestly don't know if that's real or fictional, but North Carolina is real. And Will is he's a young volunteer and student who's on summer vacation, and Steve is he's another musically talented. I have a lot of artistically talented characters in these books, really, um, and he's it's again such a sad, sweet story, and Ronnie's one of my favorite characters, and I I just love how humanitarian she is, and I liked I liked her with Will, and I liked how she was um, working up to build her relationship with Steve, and you know trying to get closer to him. Um, just to avoid spoilers. I don't want to say anything that might come off as a spoiler, but yeah, it's really, really sad. And again, if you want to cry, then you should read this. That's who I would recommend it to, because it really like pulls at your heart. At least it did for mine. Okay, this next one is for you, John Green. It's Paper Towns. I can't wait. I read this because I want to watch. I want to see the movie, and I also want to see the trailer too. Um, that's I really liked this. It was really good. It was very interesting, and I kind of I've seen The Fault in Our Stars, and I've read An Abundance of Catherines, and I'd say this is kind of in between that because it's not as quirky funny as An Abundance of Catherines, but it's not depressing like The Fault in Our Stars, and it's its own sort of subgenre with fiction, young adult fiction, and it's about a guy named Quentin who's sort of platonic friends with Margot, and they go on a Margot. Um, she and Quentin go on like an all night trip while she gets revenge for things, and the next day Quentin finds out that Margot's missing and just does whatever he can to figure out where she went, and what you know whatever happened to her, and it's it's gonna be a movie with Nat Wolff as Quentin, and I that's why I read this book too, and I recommend this to anyone. Not any specific type of people, but if you like John Green, then if you like John Green, or if you like The Fault in Our Stars or An Abundance of Catherines, any of his books, then you should read this. You'll really like it. Okay, the next book is Seating Arrangements by Maggie Shipstead. Oh, this is also another like multi-storyline book, and it has like several characters, like more of ensemble setting, but there are two other specific main characters, and I think they're really like leading female and male, and it's about it spans like 3 days, and it's about a big high society family preparing for a wedding, and just everything goes wrong, and it's like they just can't have the perfect wedding, and the two main characters are Win Van Meter, who is the patriarch, and his daughter, what was her name again? Livia? Oh no, Livia I think is the maid of honor. Daff. Okay, it's about it's about the father, the bride, and the maid of honor, or bridesmaid, and it just it's kind of funny, but also sad. It's one of those funny and sad, and it's just everything is going wrong at a wedding, and it starts to make you laugh, but then it becomes problematic for some of the characters. So it was interesting that way, and I liked it. I don't know exactly who specifically I'd recommend this to unless you like regular fiction, and again, yeah, just a nice. It's also like a nice summer read too. I read this I read this in the fall, and it just didn't feel like summer. 'Cause um, so I will say, if you do read this, read read this in the summer. All right, the next book is another one I just loved, and it's Let Sleeping Freshmen Lie. I mean, Sleeping Freshmen Never Lie. I keep forgetting the title of that. I always think of the phrase Let Sleeping Dogs Lie. Um, it's it's another young adult book about a kid named Scott who spends a year of his freshman year of high school um, trying to win over the girl that he had like a childhood crush on, and he does everything he can to get her, and that includes going on the school newspaper, and being in a school play, or at least off stage, behind the scenes, and also running for student council. He does whatever he can to win her back, but in the process, his mother is pregnant, and he writes letters to what will be his soon-to-be sibling of what his high school, to warn him of what his high school's life is gonna be like. And Scott's a kid that I really related to him because it reminded me of some of my high school years, and that's who I would recommend this to. Not so much teenagers. I wouldn't stop them if they were interested in this, but I would suggest it to people my age or over, just because it's a good book to make you reminisce to your high school years, and some of mine I kind of liked, and freshmen maybe not so much, um, but other of my high school years I did, and it's only freshman year. It's not like sophomore or senior or anything. And it's a funny book too. It's really funny, and it's just it's got like all over the place, and just you know trying to when the his childhood crush back, and it's funny and sweet and things, and if you're out of high school, then you should read this, and if you're in high school, then I won't stop you. All right, I'm sure that before Project 52 ends, I'll end up having more books, which will make another book recommendation segment, and even after Project 52 ends, I'm gonna post more frequently, but I'll get more on that some other time. I'll just for now until July, I'm just posting weekly, and I'm sure I'm gonna have another book recommendations video just 'cause I'm reading more now. So all those I left all those titles down there in the description with their author's name in case you wanted to look into them, and uh, and then yeah, if you ever read them, just feel free to I'd be up for discussing them with you and discussing other books with you too. So I'll see you next week.